Hi, everyone. I'm supposed to have gone live. We have a 1 second delay on this live stream. If you are seeing me and hearing me, please give me a thumbs up so I'll know I'm connected, okay? If not, I'll back out and try again. Okay, thank you, Victoria. Hi, Ricky. Hi, Rude. I hope I said that right. Welcome. And to my wonderful moderators, Julie and Tess, thank you so much for doing this for the moment. And as you can see, it's going to be a little bit of a different setup. Let me just say hi, welcome to Laura's View in Tarot 2. This is a live with Laura session on a Saturday, September 2nd, 2023. And we haven't done a live stream in a while, and it just seemed like it was a good time for it. So here's what we're going to do. I've got smaller decks. As you can see, I've kind of got a different setup where you'll be able to see most of these small cards as I deal them and put them out, and we'll talk about them. And we'll be taking suggestions and questions. If something seems like it's not quite right for this session, don't get offended. There's times people ask questions and haven't had practice at asking questions of the tarot cards. And so they ask questions that the tarot's not really good to get answers on. For example, when questions are really hard to, you can say, how will people be feeling, and get answers that way, but when's just, there's just not a really solid, good, strong way to do that. So I may bypass those or decide that it's a topic that I want to mull over later and maybe address in a standalone video. So my lovely moderator, Julie, she's monitoring the chat, so is Tess, and I'm going to ask Julie to send me texts with questions that she thinks are good to have in this session. And I think I've already got some from her from previously, so let me log in. That way I don't have to try to read the chat while we're going, okay? All right. Now, one of the questions that's already been submitted is, the Africa is growing cojones, and Niger and other countries are asking foreign interlopers to leave. This past week in Niger, the French Foreign Embassy was asked to leave. They refused. So the last I heard, they cut off power and water and supplies to them because they've overstayed their welcome. And while the mainstream media is framing these as uprisings and juntas and coups, it really is a rising from the populace. And part of what's giving them some of that courage to do that is that they are making more agreements. Several of those companies have asked to join BRICS, and Russia has promised some cooperation and help. Now, if you know anything about the history of the countries of Africa, they've been pillaged for centuries, and only lip service has been paid to having them be autonomous. It's usually puppet governments that go in, again, still very corrupt, siphoning off up to 70% of their natural resources to the European countries that are pulling the strings. So what we'd like to know is this trend we're seeing with the countries in Africa, is it a lasting trend, a valid trend, and are there other insights and information the universe would like us to know? Okay, and please stay safe. If you're one of those countries that are advocating and putting yourselves on the line for freedom, please do so safely with some consideration for your fellow countrymen, no matter what their color are. Thinking of our South African brethren who, the farmers, there's been a lot of bloodshed, and it seems to be sanctioned and endorsed. And I wish people could just see themselves as fellow countrymen, regardless of their race, because we are one human race. We're not little color variations. All right. So we'll see how this works out. Insights and information, is this a lasting trend for African nations to have some cojones and stand up to foreign interlopers? Okay. Our first card is the Queen of Swords. Then we have the Eight of Wands. We have the King of Cups in the background. For the recent past. Present, we have Queen of Pentacles. Now let's look at the future. Judgment and additional insights and information. Five of Cups. The Lovers. Okay. Now let's look at the major arcanas here, which tells us if this is a good question. Okay. We have two major arcanas out of 7 cards. Okay. The time, and this means the information that's given from these is usually pretty firm. Okay, so let's look. Our situation was indicated by the Queen of Swords, often called our justice suit. It's thoughts and words. So what I'm getting is the people of Africa have realized the path to sovereignty and justice is self-rule and to not be puppet governments anymore. There's a lot of events going on in a lot of countries as this autonomy desire has the breath of life breathed into it. So there's going to be a lot of events going on about it. The current situation, Queen of Pentacles, I think this is a nod to the fact that the BRICS nations have offered some support as they go through this process. Queen of Pentacles is very just and fair, and it's often a sign. The Pentacles are an earth sign that talks about assets and resources that are real, tangible. You can put your hands on them. And if the pillaging and corruption could stop, well, here too, with the African countries, they do have riches that they could tap into and make them very viable, powerful players on the world stage, and economic factors to really be dealt with and treated fairly. Okay, the recent past, we have the King of Cups. Now, he could be kind of tricky, okay? They have tried to derail this movement with some false promises and some lies. The King of Cups is our ultimate poker player, poker face, but he's got total control of his emotions. He can make a decision that ruins 10,000 lives without blinking, because it seems to be that's where he wants to go, what he wants to do. So the King of Cups has tried to derail the momentum. Currently, it's still gaining steam. Now let's look ahead. What's going to happen here? It's judgment time, and that is not for the people advocating for freedom and sovereignty. It is for those who have derailed those efforts, who have pillaged, who have profited off the pain, suffering, child labor, whatever of others. Okay. Now, there is still going to be some losses incurred. This is not going to be a seamless. We know evil does not give up their stranglehold on a person, a soul, an economy, whatever, easily. So there's going to be some losses that are incurred in this process. But ultimately, because of this alliance and because the universe is helping our entire planet to gain some sovereignty, they are going to be successful. Let's get 2 more cards, see if there's additional insights on this question. Okay, 8 of Cups, Justice. When Justice and Judgment come up, see, the Judgment card doesn't always happen on this plane, but Justice usually does seem to start on this plane. So yeah, they're going to have some, they're finally going to be free of some of the shackles that have kept them in colonial and subjugated status for centuries. So let's pray for their safety. And again, let's pray that as they get their sovereignty, it doesn't boil over into a hatred of people that aren't indigenous. If they're native to that land, even if it's just by a generation, I mean, accept them, embrace them, and don't consider them other or the enemy. Let's pray that they have that kind of discernment to do that. Okay, gonna look for a little bit of feedback in the chat in just a second here. So is this format, can you hear me? Were you able to understand what I was saying? And is this agreeable as we proceed? So some thumbs up if it's working okay for you, okay? While you're doing that, I'm going to do some blending of the cards, 5 by 5. I like seeing that. Thank you, Tess. Thank you, Christine. And if you're a newer viewer to our live streams, welcome. Just so you know, for the protection of myself and my moderators, this presentation is, and all of my videos are for entertainment only. I freely admit I'm trying to use real time, real information, and I'm speaking from the heart as accurately as possible. But at the end of the day, because this use of tarot for an intuitive aid is not a hard science, this is consider this for entertainment. But if you come away with an insight or some information that you can confirm other places, yay, great. I don't deliberately mislead, misguide, or anything else. Now, what I'm doing here, slightly out of camera range, you can't see, I've got a bar of selenite. If you're new to tarot reading, you don't understand, and you don't have to accept this. It's just what I've seen in practice. The cards, the universe, they get an energy to answer the question. And that energy has to be shaken off or dispelled or what have you before you move on to the question. That's why new tarot readers that don't have that knowledge say, I keep getting the same type of cards no matter what question I ask. So here's what I do in a live stream. Now you can do other things. There's things like, burning sage, but I don't like indoor pollution. Selenite is a universal recharger. And so what I do is tap all 4 corners of the deck. And I'm just going to let that deck sit on the selenite for a while. And with the universe knows that by the time I pick it up again, we'll be going to a new type of question. And then we won't get the same type of cards. All right, let me make sure I got this deck. Nope, had it upside down. Okay, now I'm going to look at my phone again and pick another question. Okay. Why are black fences going up in Maui? Citizens are demanding truth. Good for them. Good for them. Oh, probably shouldn't say the MAUI word. Okay, so island residents of our 50th state would like to know what the heck's going on with, and so would we, with all this black fencing. What is going on with it? And the push of natives still able on this timeline and to push back. Are they going to get some answers and, more importantly, be able to withstand the efforts to take their those tribal lands were available to them in perpetuity. That means forever. And just a couple of weeks before that conflagration, they passed legislation that land that had been decimated by some sort of a disaster could be claimed. So they're trying to bypass those ancestral rights to own that land in perpetuity. So we'd like to know if there's insights about the black fences, and more importantly, is the Native people's resolve to not lose their lands that they were told they could own in perpetuity. Are they going to be successful? Other insights and information are also welcome at this time. Oops, that was just a bottom card I picked up. Okay, so our first card, the Star, looking good for Native peoples. Page of Cups. Recent past, we have Hangman. More fast-moving events with the 8 of Wands. 4 Cups. Nine of Wands. They're very determined. Temperance. Okay. So we asked, what's up with the fencing? Is the push to not have that be the start of a loss of their lands going to be successful? And other insights and information, just kind of like a global, just let us know what's going on with that island and that situation universe, is where we were going with this. Okay, the situation is indicated by the star. Okay, not only is this my White Hat Alliance card, but it's often indicative of benevolent off-world energy that is in support of this efforts happening on our plane of existence to resist evil, to resist shackles, to gain our sovereignty and freedom. Okay, the Page of Cups is often about a card that indicates quite often a hidden blessing. So I'm seeing that while there's shenanigans going on with that fencing, and they're trying to keep some disclosures from coming to light, the overall success of Native Hawaiians to not have that legislation be what rules the land and makes them lose their owning it in perpetuity happen is probably looking pretty good. Now they're in for a fight, but they're determined. Absolutely. The near future, we've got the Four of Cups. Again, there's some obvious things. There's some stuff going on in the background. This is the universe's nod to me because I always ask to have access to information that is not obscured, not veiled. And I trust the universe to do the shielding when it's information that is not ready to be disseminated, to giving to us. So there's information here that is not being shared. We have to just trust that that's okay. But most of it's available to us to see. This was not a man-made event. These are shenanigans at play. It's no coincidence. There's no coincidences, but there's no coincidence that that legislation passed a couple of weeks ahead of that conflagration. None at all. The determination of the Native peoples to fight and resist, and the support from those of us on the mainland and across the planet and even off the planet in that effort aren't going to flag. They're determined. They're like, we don't care. We don't care. It's our ancestral land. It was given to us in perpetuity, and that means irregardless of disasters. So they're going to be very determined. Now, as for what's going on, the Temperance card often means that there's not a compromise so much as teamwork and a success that's not as full as you might hope. So the result is firm. That's our strongest insight card here. Okay. The results aren't going to play out quickly, but they are going to be successful. Absolutely. That's what I'm getting with the Temperance card here. That this resistance to these shenanigans is not going to go away. They're gonna dig their feet in and stand firm. And it's actually going to be a rallying point for Native peoples across the planet. And for those of us with hearts, white hearts, by the way, remember to put the white hearts on the table. Yay me. Let's get a couple more cards and see if there's further insights or information the universe wants to share with us. The Moon and the Three of Pentacles. Okay. Now the Moon can indicate some, first of all, a change in the wind. Absolutely. This is a nod to the genuine loss of life that was happening during this these fires and this disaster. Absolutely. Now, since this is showing up in the near future, we're going to get more information about those losses as time goes on. Luckily, some of the losses have woo explanations, and so they're only losses for a time. So that's really good. And that's why we're getting the nod here with the Three of Pentacles, which is firm foundations and a very loving, agreeing, again, kind of a teamwork thing. Because of teamwork, the losses weren't as bad as they could have been, and they are as bad as they had hoped them to be. Their results are not going to be what they wanted, but they are in for a fight and they're prepared for it. So people of our 50th state, send you love, we send you light, and total support as you resist this agenda, these shenanigans, and all that entailed. Gonna do a little shuffling. Get these cards mixed up a little bit before they rest for the next question. I'm seeing 3 questions. My moderator, Julie, if you could send me 1 or 2 more to choose from, I would really appreciate it. And Tess can watch the chat while you pick out and type. If this goes as I hope. Yay. I'll do more shuffling when we have an actual question for the deck. I was just trying to get the cards mixed back in a very random fashion there. Okay, and we got the 4 taps. 1, 2, 3, 4. That just deck is going to rest. And hi, you're up. Thanks for working with us. Okay, what's going on with the oceans? The toxic waste being released? Is it already being healed? I think that's an excellent question. I sometimes hate to do live streams because I get such great questions that would make standalone videos, where I could show a little bit of research and just do a standalone video. So, but that is a good question. We've heard in recent days that there is wastewater that's being released from Fukushima. And it's being put into our oceans. Then I've heard that that's actually a false report designed to do other, so the universe knows what it is. Okay. So let's say, is there truth to the news report that additional new toxic waste, radioactive waste from Fukushima is entering our water systems? And is there, I want to combine it. Okay, you gotta have 1 card per 1 question per deal. Okay. All right. Is there truth to the news reporting that new toxic radioactive wastewater is entering our ocean? Origin, most likely Fukushima. And are there cleanup efforts happening so that if there is, are there cleanup efforts happening? This is a nod again to our off-world help, our benevolent off-world help, our future self-help. If you believe, like I believe, that at some point the Tesla technology, if not already sometime in the past, was it's got to be carefully used. But I would think that using it to clean up the oceans would be a very non-timeline disrupting activity to do. Just like dilating time and removing people from disaster situations would not disrupt our timeline. So, are there insights and information about this? These reports, are they true? And is there insights and information, especially regarding possible cleanup or healing that's happening regardless? Okay, our first card, King of Pentacles. Sovereignty. 7 of Pentacles. Recent past card is the 5 of Swords. Current card, Page of Pentacles. Near future, the Magician. I'm sorry if you can't see those. I'll try to move those up, but I am saying them as I get them. And then insight, we have Queen of Cups and the Chariot. Okay. Out of 7 cards, we have only 1 that's a major arcana, but we're getting some pretty solid thumbs up. First of all, the situation is indicated by the King of Pentacles, which is our ultimate sovereignty card and good provider. Okay. So even if it's happening, it's being mitigated. I say that because the situation is also clarified with the 7 of Pentacles, which talks about only a partial harvest. In this case, where the harvest was meant to be harmful and not to the benefit of human and native life forms of this planet, it was only somewhat successful before they stepped in. Now, yes, they stepped in and will continue to do so, even more so, especially if we contribute our energy and intention and ask for divine and off-world help. Remember, a lot of times because of the non-interference clause, they have to wait to be invited. So if this resonates with you, if this feels valid, please take a moment and just ask for divine and off-world help into transmuting any poisoned or toxic substances in or being added to the oceans and waters of the world to be transmuted to positive or at least neutralized. And with that request, then the non-interference clause is totally done away with. And it doesn't guarantee the help and the assistance, although the cards seem to say, especially going forward, it's going to happen. So here, let's see what happens. I'm sure out of 489 people watching this, one or two of you, if not 100, have just taken a moment to ask for that help in transmuting pollutions and toxins and things like that in our world's waters. Let's see, because we're given a magician here. He is the ultimate manifester. He has access to every single one of the elements of our plane of existence and can manifest things and does so with balance because, as above, so below, and above being meaning, heavens and above, not above ground, below ground. The below is us on this plane of existence. The Queen of Cups, she can be a little self-absorbed. Look, she's got water around her. Okay. But she is emotions. She is heart. And yeah, so the cries of our heart are being heard. The magician will step in and help with some of that cleanup and that transmutation of toxins and waste. Okay. The Chariot, again, a card of, he's a major arcana, fast moving. When things are in flux and moving, he's heading the charge. He's the younger energy of the emperor. Okay, definitely a white hat. So absolutely. I can already tell you right now, your request to the universe was heard and is being acted on. And it was already, but now even more so. Let's get a couple more cards for insights and information. 9 of Wands, determination card, the bring your lunch. And a beautiful one showing up again, the Lover's card again. Okay. And the Lover's card is balancing needs and wants. Okay. So some of that intervention is going to be very subtle, not observable and definite, and won't be reported on in the mainstream media. Okay. But there is such heavenly love for the human race, for this plane of existence, for her. We are loved. We are cherished. And the cries of our heart, they're heard. Our tears have been counted. And change is in the way. Good change. May not be in the mainstream, but it's happening. Okay. Sorry, got a little upset. Emotional. I know we're loved. I know we're cared for. I know we're in the process of getting some help and intervention. I know sovereignty is ahead for us. I know ascension is ahead for our planet and many of us. And even those that aren't immediately ready, I know ultimately will be. I know it. You have to repeatedly, determinedly reject the light, not once, not 10 times, thousands, millions of times, for it is not in your future. Okay, I'll give this one a tap, let it rest. Bring back the other one. Okay, see if I got any other insights. Okay, not seeing anything new. Let me look here. And I'm not going to scroll back. So if I see a question that sparks a thought, we're going to go with it. I am scrolling. Jen. Okay. Some of them have such obvious answers that I don't want to do a whole tarot read about it. Interesting question. I'm just going to verbally go over it. Was made by Stellavision, made in USA. Question: on a plane August 30th over the Gulf of Mexico at 40,000 feet, a huge round electrical cloud standing still. Was that a natural cloud? Okay. You just want confirmation of what your discernment's already telling you. Okay, and that is, heck no, it wasn't natural. We have more and more reveals happening in our skies. And even in my little town here, my daughter and a friend were sitting out and had a UFO sighting, and my daughter got it on video. I may try to find a way to share that with you. It was a real eye opener because her friend absolutely doesn't believe in aliens, talk about not woken up or anything else. Okay. September 23rd, will people awaken? Will the light shine on September 23rd? That's a good question, Judy. Let's see if we can kind of work it up in a way that there is alt media and spiritual group chatter that September 23rd is going to be significant. Astrological chatter also to that. Can we have some insights and information about will September 23rd of 2023 on this particular timeline we're on have events that help the path of humanity and those that are awake as well as those that are on the cusp of waking up? So is September 23rd, 2023 on this timeline going to be a significant date, and insights and information about that particular date regardless? Now, I haven't done a lot of research about what's being said. I try, the dates are so fluid because our timelines splits, gets messed up with. I usually don't look at dates at all. And then again, like I said, dates aren't really good with the tarot cards. So that's why I'm phrasing this, that the events that are spoken of for September 23rd, let's put it that way. Then if it doesn't happen that day, are they going to be as significant as chatter has it? And if so, what type of significance will they have? There, I think we've kind of cleaned up that question to where the universe can answer it. So while it is about September 23rd in general, we're saying the events up. So that way, if things shake up a little bit and the events that are talked about don't happen exactly on the day, the universe can still advise and inform us about them. Okay. Our first card, Ace of Pentacles. You got a heck yes, guys. The Magician. Wow. Okay, we have the Two of Pentacles for the recent past. It's going to be a good day. Those events that are coming are going to be significant and good. I can already tell you that. Okay, because we have the 10 of Pentacles here, the Queen of Wands, High Priestess, and the Lover's card again. New deck, new shuffle. Lover's card keeps showing up. Do a little Google search on what the Lover's card signifies when it's right side up. Okay, it's going to make you feel good. All right, so the situation, events that are talked about to happen on September 23rd. So that we gave the universe some wiggle room if the timeline tweaks and it's the 24th or whatever. But the events that are talked about, take a look at those because they are going to come to fruition. They're going to be about manifesting some changes, again, in the hearts and minds of those who are impacted by the events. Absolutely, got that. Recent past, we have the two of Pentacles, which tells me in the past, there was a 50-50 chance of it happening. This is kind of my 50% chance card. It's also a card of balance, okay, and some skill. So, but usually 50-50 is kind of the main thing here. But that was in the recent past. Now, especially as eyes are on it and people are getting more aware of what we're told spiritually, astrologically, event-wise, in every facet of our world, from the real to the faith-based, it's a significant date, absolutely. And it's one that is one that it's joyous, it's good. So these events aren't to be feared. The 10 of Pentacles is about every generation, including animal life, celebrating, involved, and having abundance. So, and this is material abundance. So enough to eat, enough to, place. So there's no disaster to be feared. There's no calamity to be feared. It is whatever happens, the events that are talked about there. If they're framed in a positive framework, you can probably see if your discernment isn't saying, yeah, I'm buying it. Okay. Now, if it doesn't, as always, use your discernment and trust your discernment. Will it be 100% accurate? No. But the more you use it, it's like any group muscle group, the more you use it, the better it is. And we have been told for generations to trust trusted voices. We need to learn that our discernment is the trusted voice. And with practice, it could be the authority that we listen to, especially when we wrap some faith and logic and clear thinking around it. All right, let's look ahead now. Near future, we got the Queen of Wands showing up. She is a card of justice, fairness, brutal honesty. So there's some truths that are going to come out. She's fair, but she's honest, and she's not always totally tactful about it. It is what it is. Deal with it. Now, the High Priestess is a very interesting card. First of all, it is a major arcana, okay? And you can see the duality shown here with the pillar that's black, the pillar that's white. She's in the middle. She has a cross indicating some spiritual wisdom and sovereignty. And the background behind her is only a thin veil. And when she shows up for me, and I think for most tarot readers, often she can indicate on a read about events. Now, it's a whole different thing on personal reads, but often she can indicate that there's events and information that are very close to being disclosed and made public. That things that have been happening in the background, information that's been obscured is ready to come forth. And in fact, if you were willing to step closer and look through the veil, you could see it yourself. But that means that would be just like an individual inspirational vision, not necessarily a universal one. But there is widespread information that is very close to coming to light. Again, the Lover's card showing up, again showing, care, concern from above for poor simple humans. Our needs, our wants, the cries of our hearts, they're heard. I can't say that often enough. We've got the Sun showing up for a little extra information. Joyous card, success, life, and the Sun. It looks like, like I said, I haven't done a lot of reading specifically on September 23rd. I'm going to after this video and see what is being discussed. Obviously, it has something to do with the heavens above us. King of Swords, White Hat card, Supreme. So, yeah, there's going to be events that happen that deal with the sky. I'll just leave it at the sky. Absolutely on that day. There's going to be some results and fallout that are good for humans. Absolutely. And even plant and animal life. And change is being manifested even as we speak, again with the Magician showing that. So, wow. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4 major arcanas. Very important question. We have an ace, also a good, really, relevant card for reads. So, wow, good for us. Okay, well, if I am judging things right, I've now done 4 questions. And I might have enough. I don't know if you can understand this, but tarot reads when you're doing the reads, it can be draining. It can be tiring. Um, I have been absolutely blessed by many of my viewers. As you know, I have some vocal cord damage, and so I wanted to share a little information. And it's a result of having thyroid cancer. I had 2 separate surgeries in 2007, and my vocal cords were damaged. So I've had to kind of learn, how to work with that. I kind of protect my voice. I try to do my videos a little earlier in the day. If I can, I just ask you to bear with me and not worry about me because the raspiness that happens after I've spoken a lot, or if I get really fatigued at the end of the day, it has nothing to do with being sick, ill, or anything else. But so many people have sent me so much healing energy that I probably have double, if not triple, the capacity to now use my voice and speak without raspiness and hoarseness that worries good-hearted people. So I wanted to just take a second and thank all of you that have done that have made that part of your practice, because I'm living the healing and the results of that good energy you sent my way. Absolutely. On almost every one of my videos the last few months, in an effort initially just to stop trolls from trying to pretend like they were associated with a channel and offering services or products or what have you, I would do a disclaimer. And just as part of my personal conviction that we shouldn't be charging for the information we give. We can profit from our channel, absolutely. I don't turn down the ad revenue that I get. But charging for information, I feel really strongly about. And it's just been part of my practice to tell people that I value your positive energy, your loving intentions for me, for the channel, your prayers, however you manifest your personal positivity. Those are gifts that have kept me going when, I can tell I've been targeted by negative energy of one sort or another, but it has been not been an issue. And it's because of you. And I do appreciate that so much. The healing energy you send, the protective energy, the loving, supportive energy, it's just really, really incredible. Okay, now I'm going to go down to the bottom of the chat. I'm going to keep going till 3 o'clock so that we have a solid hour on this video. And unless I see something that makes me really think I ought to grab the cards, let's do what I call Ask Me Anything. Okay? And I truly mean it. You can ask me anything. I'll try not to miss any of them. Okay. West Coast said she's late. Nice to see you. Sunshine Fairy, Teflon Laura. Yeah, thanks to you guys. We the people are awesome. Absolutely. Okay. If you have a question, could you say question so my eye hits it? That would be really, really great. Question. I have a court issue with my young grandson. Will it turn out to be in his favor? Thank you. That's a personal read. I usually do events. I'm sorry about that. Okay. And Desert Rose, just a reminder, the universe returns to you 10 times what you put out. Okay, yeah. So, universe sending me right healing, thank you. Okay. Okay, there's a good question for the tarot cards, but I was just thinking another bank failure coming soon. I think that's a big heck yeah. I mean, that's in general we have to, because the G7 fiat currencies are going to pretend to be solvent as long as they can, but more and more banks are going to go away. Okay. All right, let's just say Cheryl J. She has a question that really it's more like a call to for Reiki healing and positivity. She's going to be having dental surgery. She's scared. Let's intention that she has some peace of mind, healing, and the best possible outcome for that entire situation. Take a moment, please, and do that for her. Okay. Challenger Space Shuttle explosion in 1986 was a planned event by the Dark Ones. Absolutely. We've seen all of those supposed corpses are now older and holding positions at Berkeley University and what have you. It's, yeah. Plus NASA is never a straight answer. I mean, it's such a scam. Yeah. Okay. Will Whitehearts lead us to war in order to make their point? I think to the brink. I think it was always going to go to the brink. And our job is to live with no fear, to say I reject fear, and to be those points of light and positivity that are needed. Okay. All right. Idaho has declared the jab a bioweapon. Will other states follow? Yes. And I'd love to do. Let me kind of save that for a video. And let's see if there's going to be, if we can get some deeper insights and information about that. Okay. Big Mike update. I hear Big Mike's going bald. Okay. Luke from the Bible, a dark cat. No. Whitewashed like so many of us imperfect souls. Okay. $2 failing, going mainstream. If you're talking about the fiat dollar, yeah, the failing is going to continue. Okay. Gee, I would want to know, like, if I'm toenails pain to do it. Okay. Yeah, we never good teeth to you. I've been blessed. I have. Okay. Okay, can I show my cats? Well, Chloe's down here by my feet, and Allie is under the desk, so they're all within about 2 feet of me. But I think if I picked them up just to put them on camera, they'd panic. Okay, so yeah, no, they don't. Can you see her tail? There's Chloe right there, and she's talking, and Allie's on a little footstool. Okay, when will we get women question our tarot? Okay, for humanitarian projects. I think we're going to see some relief on personal bases before the humanitarian funds come out. That's my personal thought, which is kind of opposite of what, a lot of the chatter about these funds are. Okay. So I think what will happen is there'll be a softening, for example, my Social Security is penalized because I have a teacher pension. So I make a whopping $288 a month on Social Security. And Social Security initially was supposed to cover 70% of what you would need in retirement. And $288 is not 70%. So I think there's going to be some softening of things like that. Some penalties on Social Security kind of going away, doing away or greatly reducing income tax withholding, things like that, before we see, because I think we're going to all benefit to some extent on a personal level. And because the humanitarian projects are going to take a while to fund and kick up and go off. Okay. Will we see masked asters remove their masks on live TV? I don't know if it would just depend. It would, it's not something that right now the 6 major corporations that own the world are going to be happy about, and it's not part of their narrative. So it could happen at live events or something like that. I think more than taking them off, you're just going to see more people saying, no, I'm not doing it. And, I think that's going to get a little more airtime before the I'm seeing the light and taking the mask off type of thing's going to happen. Okay. Okay, I'm going to try this one for Sunny Sis. Can we pull cards on about how many of the jabs were just Saline? Okay, sometimes I can get percentage information. So let's try that one for a tarot read. So that's huge. I've heard that the first round of jabs had the highest percentage of Saline. So let's look at the first 3, because I know, like, for my daughter's employment, 2 are mandated. And after that, they got supposedly voluntary, although there's still a lot of pressure to have them. So let's ask what percentage of cumulatively of the first 3 jabs, what percentage of those might have been rendered harmless by intervention or saline substitution. Because we've asked for past medical things to be neutralized and beneficial. So this is almost like going to be an update of some of the items we've discussed and added positive energy to in our meditations. So I'm going to, for the universe, the first 3 rounds of the jabs, cumulatively, can we have some insights and information about what percentage of those might have been rendered harmless by either intervention or saline substitution? Let's see what the universe wants us to know. Okay, situation card. Got the Queen of Cups. Again, liquid right near her. 4 of Pentacles. Recent past, we have 6 of Cups. Current, we got the 10 of Wands. Looking forward, we got the 5 of Pentacles. 3 of Cups. Modest celebration and judgment. Okay, woe to them. All right, so the situation, Cups and Pentacles, okay? Cups are emotions, they hold liquid. Pentacles are one of our, so yeah, it was a moneymaker, but not as much as they wanted, absolutely. Okay. I'm going to say half. Cumulatively, the first 3 jabs, half of them were rendered benign or were saline substitutions. So they may have gone in one way. Now here's how I came up with the half. I just simply 20, 25, 28, 38, 42, 48, that's really close to 50. Just, I said 50. Okay. All right. Now let's look at it a little closer here. Cups, again, Queen of Cups. She's our emotions. She's in charge of emotions. She knows this is an emotional topic because human rights were violated left, right, upside down, right side up when those mandates came out and were enforced. It's kind of like we don't care about your human rights. We don't care about the Nuremberg Code. Do it to keep your job. Do it to go in the store. Do it to go to this funeral. The push was incredible. Okay. So yeah, it's an emotional topic. This is a card that often indicates, just moderation as far as resources and what have you. So here's the 4 of Pentacles talking about, marshaling resources. So as much as they got in, interfered, and stood in the way of, especially with the first couple of them, as much as they could, because those were the ones that had the least amount of true personal participation, free participation. Okay. So from the 3rd on, it gets more and more like, now they say there must be something in those because people almost get hooked on them. They want everyone that comes out. Really strange situation. Yeah. Now let's look at the near future here. We've got the 5 of Pentacles. Again, great many of us went our own way, said no thank you, no matter what they offered. If we said we don't want the free donuts, we don't want the lottery ticket, we don't want whatever, nothing, we will go our own way. And then the inside card for that, again, the strongest one is the Three of Cups, which is a card of modest celebration. Okay. So there were more people that resisted than actually felt free to talk about it. There were more people that regretted and said, I got the first one because I had to. I'm not doing that again. So there's more people walking around with less of that product and the byproducts in their system than they wanted to. And judgment card showing up there again, just letting us know that this is going to be dealt with on a planetary basis. There will be some consequences for trampling on human rights and deliberately designing things that would depopulate and ruin people's health and immune systems, what have you. So there is going to be some consequences for that. Okay. Ask me anything. Doesn't seem to be going quite like I pictured it. Okay. All right. Marilyn Jacobson wanted to know if nanotechnology can get in the brain control. The potential is there. Absolutely. But a lot of nanotechnology, I have a personal theory. This is just my personal theory. I found it incredibly hard to buy powerful magnets a few years ago. And I wanted to do that because I know powerful magnets can erase computer programming. I didn't want to do any damage to anybody's computer programming, but I thought if there was even a possibility that any of the nanotechnology elements were metallic and would respond to a magnet, I wanted to, and I figured it was kind of my theory on so many things, what can it hurt? So I had to search really hard. I finally was able to purchase a couple of magnets that have a 600-pound capacity. And quite honestly, there have been numerous times I've worn them. Front and back, laid with it on my forehead, on my third eye, what have you. Again, what can it hurt? What can it hurt? But my thought was, this nanotechnology is, even if it self-replicates, it's programmed. And if magnets can deprogram computers, and there's even the slightest possibility that it could derail some nanotechnology, why not give it a shot? Why not give it a try? So just sharing that for what it's worth, okay? And you'd be surprised how hard it is to buy really, really strong magnets. Really, really strong. So I wonder if I wasn't onto something with that thought. Okay. Periwinkle rabbits here. I love that movie. Okay. Gentile says hello. I say hello back. Okay. Dragons, Guardians of the Crystal Hearts. I love your comments too. You're such a wise soul. So many people that are active in this channel are. There's a lot of wisdom in the comments and participation. And if you're new to us, unlike almost any other channel I know of, we've got really active commenters, good support systems. Don't come in trying to sell us something, because they're also really savvy and they watch out for one another. But if you want support, if you want to put out a need, it gets, and between myself and my two moderators, your comments do get read. And absolutely, we're active in the comments. There's no money in it, but that's not the point. The point is to build community, because I truly believe that across our globe, people, I believe that intentionally, as far as soul contracts go, there are people awake in every family group, in every organization, in every social grouping. We're spread out. It makes us feel isolated. Okay, we've been spread out deliberately, and I think we volunteered to be spread out so that we could, when we're needed, we could shine our light, share that white heart love we've got, and draw others in or protect others. And so we chose that. But that isolation of being awake and the only one in your family, hey, I'm there. Everyone else in my family has been jabbed. My daughter's only slightly awake, as we phrase it. And so that need for community, for not feeling isolated, for not doubting your commitment, your beliefs, knowing other people are asking the same questions and mulling the same situations over, or eagerly anticipating the same events. It helps. It helps. And so that's why the comments are a living community for my videos. Okay. Transcendings. Telling Todd, I feel the need to see us not complying. Make it so. Absolutely. Okay. Never doubt your powers of consent. Okay. When you comply, even if it's begrudgingly, you're giving your implied consent, if not your explicit consent. I do not comply. I have compassion for your fear, but it's not my problem. Understand, if you've given consent for something in the past, you always, always, always have the right to recall that consent, to revoke it, in energy that's still out there involved with that consent, to draw it back to your central self, to your essential heart, your source, yourself, and knowingly and willingly give that consent where you want it to be. So if you were talked into something, if you feel like you've been bamboozled, like it or not, implied consent was involved, recall it. And be really careful going forward. Understand your powers of consent are huge. And understanding the three things that I keep talking about that I want people to have for their knowledge base are powers of manifestation, our powers of discernment, and our powers of consent. Those are three that don't involve like suddenly waking up in the morning being able to do teleportation or something like that. The powers each and every one of us have now that can be grown and used and wielded as a weapon. Your consent is a weapon. So be careful of what you decide to consent. And compliance is consent, like it or not. So be really careful, be really smart about where you put your energy. That's why I tell people too, it's smart to keep your eye on current events, but not invest your energy on them. Energy flows where attention goes. So we want this little energy going to like Dark Cat. Yeah, baby, she's choices, you bet. We want as little of our energy going to Dark Cat situations, scenarios, psyops, things like that. We can be aware of them, and that tells us A, what to avoid, 2, how to set our positive energy to have plans disrupted, evil energy transmuted, best possible outcomes to be had. That's a beautiful phrase to remember too, best possible outcome. Because if you let the universe decide what that is and you put your energy towards that, you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong. Okay, it is now 3:03 by my clock, which means we've been going for a little over an hour. And I said this would be a 1-hour live stream, and kind of unusual because I try to do shorter one topic videos. So I want to thank, first of all, my moderators for being so active in the comments and helping out so much. And I want to thank everybody that participated in Love and Life, because I don't see the negativity up there that maybe because of my beautiful moderators. And if you're new to the channel, come on back. Just know that most of my videos are one topic videos. And so the title kind of tells you where we're going with it. And we'd love to have new voices. And even if you're skeptical, you're still welcome. If you're a troll and you're trying to deliberately derail or bring someone's vibe down, you might want to watch other content. But skeptics are welcome, absolutely, because a skeptic is someone that's using their logic and at least willing to consider an idea, to some extent. And we were all there at one point, absolutely. So I am going to send everyone watching this love and light and the best possible outcome for every situation that you are facing or that's on your heart. And I'll be hitting end for this stream in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Goodbye, everybody.